Well, hello, my name is Daniel, and I am the pastor at Lifehouse Church just outside of Chardon, Ohio. And it is my honor today to be here on behalf of Red Tulip to let you know a little bit more about what Red Tulip does and what it offers. And I'm happy to be joined today by Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us via Zoom today.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
It's great to have you here with us today. So Kelly, I know that there's people that are watching this now and they may know what Red Tulip is and what it's about and what kind of amazing services it offers, but I'm sure there's people here today that they have no idea. They're thinking, is Red Tulip like a flower shop? You know, what is Red Tulip? So can you tell us a little bit about what Red Tulip is and what it does?
Yeah, so Red Tulip Project, it's a level 2 recovery home for women. So a level 2 recovery house would really be for somebody who's already gone through a detox process. They've probably most likely already had inpatient and outpatient treatment. They have some sobriety underneath their belt. They have the basic foundation of recovery and understand what that looks like. They're usually already involved in participating in meetings, and they have education and awareness about what addiction is, what their disease looks like, what their common triggers are, and some basic coping mechanisms. We are the people that provide a safe and sober housing facility for them to continue on their recovery journey while adding additional support.
Yeah, and that's so huge for someone who's walking through the recovery process, because it's oftentimes those old habits, those old relationships, those old places. People can be doing, they think doing pretty well in their recovery journey, but then all it takes is getting around some of those environments that can be just a downfall for them. Isn't that the case with most of them?
That is the case. One of the things that they, tell us to do is to change your people, places, and things. So that's exactly why, Red Tulip decided to provide services to women to give them a little bit more runway to have a more successful recovery.
Yeah, that's great. Just typically, about how many women are in the Red Tulip Project at any given time, just kind of on average?
So on an average, we have 3 women plus a house mom. We actually have 4 beds available. And at one point we did have all of those beds filled. So the typical setup would be 4 bedrooms plus a house mom. But we also provide services outside of the in-house. We provide services underneath the Beyond umbrella, which covers the newcomers coming newly into their recovery, and also some of your more seasoned or experienced people in recovery. We walk along both sides of.
Yeah, that's great. So because you're someone, and you work at Red Tulip, you're someone that works with the people in recovery, and you guys do something called peer recovery support. Do I have that right?
That is right.
And
peer
so
recovery support.
And that's actually what you do at one of the things that you do at Red Tulip. Tell us a little, what the heck is peer recovery support? What does that do for the women involved?
Right. So the peer recovery support is a certification that one can get through the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Recovery Services. That's the organization I went through. It's a process of taking different trainings and classes along with a board exam that you have to pass. And in order to maintain this certification, you have to have 40 hours of continuing education credits related to recovery type work. So part of that is that one has to have a lived experience. So you yourself have to be in some type of recovery from addiction and or mental health. And the other part of it is you have to be willing to share your journey in recovery with people. So the idea is that you're bringing hope to others, that recovery is possible. And really what you're doing in a sense is providing that visual, and we're role models.
Yeah. And so a couple of things I really love about what you shared there. One, that this is board certified. There's oversight. This is not just hey, I went online and got my little certification. This is a very there's a lot of oversight, there's a lot of accountability, there's a process to go and become certified in peer recovery support. And the other thing that you mentioned that I really like is that you have to be someone who's walked through a similar journey. So Kelly, I know for you, that means that you've walked through a journey of recovery and learning how to overcome an addiction. Can you share with us briefly about your journey and kind of how you got to this point?
Sure. So I tried several different programs throughout the process of recovery, which is typical for people. But when I really made up my mind that I wanted to change and I wanted my life to be different, I entered into an outpatient treatment facility, and I attended classes 5 days a week for 10 months. And at the end of that 10 months, I really decided that I hadn't really changed my location, and that was going to be a problem for me. So I decided to enter into a program called Adult and Teen Challenge of the Firelands, which is a 15-month residential treatment program for women. And that was about 3 hours away from where I was used to being. So I went for a second round of treatment.
Yeah. And now you're walking in recovery and helping others. What is that? I wonder, what does that do for you personally? That you get to kind of see women who, they have similar wounds, they have a similar scar, so to speak. And you're able to not just speak to them from an intellectual standpoint, like, hey, I read this in a book somewhere, but exactly what they're going through, what it takes to not relapse, but I wonder for you personally, what does that do in terms of your own recovery and in terms of just kind of walking in a sense of purpose and walking in a sense of fulfillment? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, being an employee here and being a peer recovery supporter has helped my own recovery. It has pushed me as an individual to grow in so many levels. Part of what we do as peer support, not only just being that emotional support person and being the opening, person to just listen to the troubles and to the struggles that women have. We also try to provide and help these women get a hold of regaining control of their own lives and building structure. So the process in which we do that is we help them set up goals based on the 9 essential skills of recovery. So we're talking about exploring self-care and maintaining clean living spaces, maintaining finances, building healthy relationships, finding and maintaining their maximum employment, not just getting surface level jobs, but really what is their full potential, as well as, really looking into spirituality and grabbing a hold of that and incorporating that. So in order for me to be able to come alongside someone and help them do that, I have to be strong in my recovery and I have to be passionate, and I am. I love to see breakthroughs with the ladies. I love to see when their vision and their goals that they set and those dreams become a reality. That is just the most rewarding experience for me. And it gives me motivation to keep going and serving others on a continual basis. And like I said earlier, I really have to stay on top of my own recovery and continue working, overcoming obstacles of my own. And I'm learning right alongside the women. And it's just pushed me further in education, my professional development, how I communicate with people. I've had to learn to network. I've had to learn to advocate for individuals in the community. So being an employee has just pushed me to all new levels in my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And clearly, I think everyone watching can hear your passion for what you do. And so I just want to commend you and thank you. It's very noble work that you're doing. And one of the things I love about what you said is this is a whole person issue. This and recovery is a whole person process. And, I think a lot of times maybe someone on the outside who's not familiar with people who are caught in addiction, people who are working a recovery process, they think, oh, well, they just need to have a little more self-discipline, or they just need to try harder. But it's so much deeper than that. And the answer is so much, it's not just about one little area of our life, but it's about the entirety of our life. And having strong support systems, having strong people like yourself, and I'm sure the relationships that are formed inside of Red Tulip to make that happen. Kelly, I would wonder, as we close here, maybe there's someone watching that has a struggle in their life that maybe it's something that they don't let people know about, something that they think, maybe it's something they think, man, I've got this under control. It's not that big of a deal. It's not hurting anybody. Or maybe they know someone in their life that is, really struggling with something right now. I just kind of, as someone who works in this space, as someone who's walked through this process, what advice, what encouragement would you give to someone who may be watching this that's struggling with something right now? And maybe they're really on the fence. Do I take a step to get help, or do I just keep trying to do it on my own? What would you say to someone like that?
I would encourage them to reach out to somebody and to get help. There is help available, and there are good programs out there. There are good people who are willing to take you by the hand and walk you through the process. You don't have to do this on your own. And, recovery is possible, and recovery and living a recovered life is a good life. It really is a good life. I, 10 years ago, would have never thought I would be working where I am and having my kids back in healthy relationships and just enjoying community outings. And those are all the things that you can look forward to. And recovery is possible. There's many people that just don't think that a person can recover. And, we're examples to say, hey, that's just not the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, we're both ultimately, me as a pastor and you and what you do, we're both in the same work, and that's to see people's lives restored. And that's what it is all about. And it's a noble thing to give your life to. And so, Kelly, I just want to say thank you for what you do at Red Tulip Project, and just thank you to everyone who's involved with that. And thank you so much for those of you that have taken the time to watch this today, to learn a little bit more about what Red Tulip Project is about. And once again, we just encourage you, if you can partner with this organization in any way, please take that step. This is a great organization doing great work, helping people experience recovery and restoration in their lives. Kelly, thanks again for your time today, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.